Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we'll turn our Hello World application into a small key-value lookup web app. We'll start with implementing this key-value lookup web app as a single service. Then we will look into splitting this application into two small services and run them in two different containers. And we'll see how this naturally leads to a microservice approach. Let's take a quick look at what this simple key-value lookup web app looks like. This is the front end of the application. Here we can put Arabic number 1 and English number 1 as a key-value pair. Just click the Save button to save the pair. Let's save Arabic number and English number 2 as another key-value pair. After the two key-value pairs have been saved, we can then look up the value with a key. Let's type Arabic number 1 as the key and click Load. See? The app returns English number 1, which we saved previously. We can also look up Arabic number 2 as well. Looks like a very simple app, right? Let's see how this app is implemented. I have already tagged the source code of this application as v0.2. You can just enter the Git repository you downloaded in the previous lecture and run git stash to stash any changes you made in your working directory so that we can have a clean working directory, and git checkout v0.2. Then just open up the repository. Here I'm using a Sublime text. You're free to use your favorite text editor. Let's expand the directory structure. As you see, we have added a new template file, index.html. This file defines the layout of the web page you saw at the beginning of this lecture. Now, I'll quickly walk you through the updated source code of this application so that you'll have a rough idea about how the system works. First, let's take a look at the index.html file. This file defines the skeleton of the web page you just saw. It defines two input text fields. The first one is linked with variable key. The second one is linked with variable cache value. Those two variables are both defined in the controller, which is the app.py file. It displays two submit buttons. One is to save the key value pair. The other one is to load the value with a key. Let's move on to take a look at this app.py file. Here, we are using a Python built-in data structure dictionary to store all the key value pairs in memory and initialize the dictionary with a single entry. The second part of this code registers a view function for the URL slash for both post and get HTTP methods. If we first load the web page, this is going to be a GET request to the server. If we click the Save or Load button, the browser will send a POST request to the server. By default, the view function only handles GET method. So we need to explicitly specify both POST and GET methods here, so that the view function can handle both cases. Here we assign the default value, which is Arabic number 1, to the variable key, so that if we first load the web page, the app will display a default key value pair. If the user specified the key in the form, we then override the key variable. Next, if the user clicks the Save button, we'll go ahead and save the key value pair in our in-memory dictionary. Then we do a key value lookup in the dictionary to get the key value pair and pass it to the template to render the HTML page. Those are all the changes we made in this controller file. The Docker file says the same as before. Nothing is changed. Then what we do here is to rebuild the Docker image and retag it with v0.2. Now it's time to spin up the container. Just issue the docker run command to start up the container. Let's switch to browser and refresh the page. See? Our service is up running. So far, we have demoed how this simple app is implemented as a single service. In the second half of this lecture, we'll be looking into how we can split this app into two small services by introducing a Redis Docker image. Redis is an in-memory data structure store often used as database, cache, and message broker, and has built-in replication and different levels of on-disk persistence. It's widely used in lots of critical products in the field such as Twitter timeline service and Facebook newsfeed. Let's see how we can integrate Redis into our key value lookup service. Since our application is written in Python, we'll need a Python Redis client so that our application can interact with the Redis server. You can find this Redis Python client webpage by Googling Redis Python client. As you see, the Redis API is very simple. It has a GET API to look up the value with a key and a SET API to save the key value pair into Redis. So let's start with updating the app.py file to use the Redis service. First, we need to import the Redis client module. Then we can just copy the Redis client initialization code from the Redis Python client webpage. This would construct a Redis client object for us. Note that this host parameter here specifies the hostname of the Redis server, which the Redis client would connect to, because we'll be running the Redis server in a separate container. Here, we just put the container name Redis here. Later, I would show you how we can link the Redis container with our Python server container. Let's put the same initial value into the Redis service. We also need to replace the Python dictionary code with the Redis API. Just update the code about saving the key value pair with Redis set API. And also update the GET API here. By default, Redis would return us a byte string which has a character B prefix. We'll need to decode the byte string with UTF-8 decoder. Don't forget to update this Python dictionary lookup code with Redis API as well. We're done with updating this controller file. Let's continue to update the Docker file. Because we're using the Redis client in our Python code, so we need to ask Docker to install the Redis client package for us. Just type Redis and install the latest version, which is 2.10.5. Now, we're done with the code modification. We'll see how we can start up our Python apt container and the Redis container, and how we can link them together. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture. I'll see you later.